forget about just oil. You're really talking about the refined products, and that is where you're really going to see jet fuel and fertilizers, urea. And one thing that people aren't talking about enough is helium, which comes from the Middle East. There's a chance this can persist, and they'll actually have to shut down the Taiwan semiconductor situation. And that is then I'm short the SMH. I'll tell you, that would be an absolute disaster. Plus, you have the whole unknown, I'm sorry, of what if China makes a move on Taiwan? There's just a lot going on here where I just wouldn't be cavalier at that S&P that's 26, 27 times trailing earnings. It's not like this is a deal. You know what I mean? This isn't exciting in any way, shape, or form as if it was 10 times earnings, okay, we could talk about that. But we're talking about 27 times trailing earnings with maybe a CapEx boom that is going to sputter out and a labor market that's weak and the revisions keep going down and everything I said before. I would fade that pop. And I go with David that you don't really know what that actually looks like, a war. See, the difference between now and Liberation Day is that was completely in Trump's control. So the taco is all on him. This is takes two to tango. And to David's point about Iran, it's not in their interest, right? They didn't start the war, we did. And, but that doesn't mean they have to end it because we're okay, we don't want any more pain here. And so, I think it's a dynamic situation, and it's just not it's a good time to be in cash as much as you can know, and then just wait till you see some sort of capitulation and be ready to find what you want to buy. There'll be a point where you're like, hey, this is offered, but it's just not there in any way, shape, or form, in my opinion.
And so when you think of the things that you want to buy, it's interesting because I looked back, I was really happy with myself, as I usually am, about how I outperformed by about 5 percentage points the market each of the last 5 years or so, maybe even a little bit more. But I looked back, and two of the biggest contributors were really high quality companies that I bought that when the market was down a lot. So when you think about your shopping list and you think of things like a Disney or not kind of high quality names that are going to be around for the next 100 years, and you say, okay, well, and Kevin, you can shake your hand. It's bouncing off that 100. It's gonna, next thing you know, it's gonna be 105, 110. It's gonna be, but I say Disney as one of them. But quality names, the one that I had was Microsoft. Quality name. I didn't know that it would be a leader in AI or among them and have this whole move. So you're buying the quality leaders, not knowing what the world's going to look like 5 years from now. And so make that list, I guess. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a company, Next Decade, NEXT, that I had brought up on the show a couple months ago, that a friend of mine had, who's on the board, bought $1 million worth of stock. And he doesn't, he has a lot of money, but he doesn't, throw around $1 million here or there. And I bought some based on that. I was like, he's smart. I know nothing about really, they're building out a huge natural gas production site. And it's going to take years and billions, probably $10 billion or more to build this. Won't come online for another few years. The second I bought it, it went down 20%. It was as though someone was waiting for that to happen, and then continued down a little bit more. So now it's up a lot because of this news. I'm interested in hearing what you think about the chart, but I'll tell you, my view is it was one of these positions where I said, you know what, I don't have exposure to this area. This is a long-term play. I'm going to be here. Did I win a coin flip, Kevin, or should I stick around?
It's clearly turned around, and my tiebreaker is always volume. This is attracting buying interest, and it took out the 647 level here. It's not it's not a pretty chart at this stage of the game, but it's clearly improving. And to Ben's point, what's going to bring nat gas prices or concerns about nat gas prices down anytime soon? I'm not hearing anything. It's above the 200-day moving average. You got to eat through all these people here between 8 and 12 that have bought the stock in the past. But every day that the natural gas supplies are questioned, it probably works.
Yeah, I mean, you know what else? Why don't you pull up VG? I was just talking about this Venture Global, which was
Yeah.
a bad IPO out of Goldman, which is US LNG. And one of the things I would argue to people is that there is a geopolitical statecraft thing going on here where we are, have a bunch of LNG trains coming online, and this is the U.S. wants to have people signing U.S. LNG contracts, not Qatari LNG contracts, not Qatari LNG. And if you saw last night, Qatar's main energy LNG plant got hit, and they're 20% of the supply. Well, it's bad for the people who are, relying on that. But you know what? Bring it in, boys. So this Venture Global, you guys want to stock this ripping and tearing? Look at that one right there. So yeah, I think next decade Venture Global are just signs that if you were wondering if there was a strategy here, I think these are clearly signs in support of that. So yeah, we'll take some pain, but we won't take the pain that other countries will, is kind of the way I think about this.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
in healthcare, by the way, there's a couple funny notes. So on street accounts, they sent around that Bernstein launched on Novo, and they actually gave it 2 mentions: launched at an underperform and launched at a market perform. And so I don't know which one it launched as, but it's I thought maybe analysts have a new way of working both sides so that they can be right either way. My guess is it's an underperform. The stock's down a bit, and people are thinking, okay, this is the loser of the GLP-1s. I will say that the oral medication that they launched is doing exceptionally well. And so this will be a great buy at some point. It might be today. I'm still in the, hey, it's a little bit of a falling knife. Let it stabilize a bit. It looks like it's kind of stabilizing, but so this is going to turn out to be a good one if they can kind of just stabilize and figure out what they're doing in this kind of confusing market. But the race to the bottom continues.